This MFL Marmac Coach Conversation brought to you by Birdnow Chevrolet, Havlicek Trucking, and Meyer Auto Service with head coach Dan Anderson. And coach, another football season about ready to begin this week as you take on the New Hampton Chickasaws. First things first, fall camp. What have you liked so far?
Well, we've got really good numbers of guys out. I think it's the most we've ever had since I've been here. And I've been teaching here and coaching at different levels for 23 years. And we're at 53 guys on the roster. So for a small 1A school, that's awesome numbers and gives us good depth. Kids have good attitudes, and that's a big part of it. And they're working hard. And obviously, we still have a ways to go, but we've got a lot of guys back, and I can't fault their efforts. So we're still making some mistakes, but that's part of preseason.
With having 53 guys at a Class 1A school, what does that allow you to do in preseason camp, I should say, and what perhaps challenges does that present?
Well, it's great because, in years past, we've had to rob some guys from like the JV team to make sure that we have a good solid two deep. And, this is the first time I've ever coached where, our varsity consists of mostly all juniors and seniors. There's a couple of sophomores sprinkled in there, but it's mostly juniors and seniors. And for a small school, you usually have a lot more sophomores and even a few freshmen, sprinkled in there. And I think this year our depth at all positions is the best it's ever been. There's not as big of a drop off between our number ones and our number twos. I mean, there's obviously a reason a guy is a number one, a starter, but we feel pretty good about the guys that are right behind them. I think we could absorb, nobody wants any injuries, but I think that we could probably absorb a few injuries better than we could in years past. And so that's a big part of that. Obviously, when you have that many guys, it's just making sure everybody's getting the equal number of reps early in the season. And I'm kind of big on that. It's our guys that right now have earned the number one spot. They're getting 3 or 4 reps. And then our guys that are right behind them are also trying to get 3 or 4 reps. And early in the season, that's important to make sure that if somebody was to go down, that they're, they can step in and fill in, and there's not really a drop off.
When you got good numbers like that, you often see numbers increase quality of special teams play. Do you think that's going to be a case with you guys this year?
For sure. It's funny you brought that up because I was saying that to some of my coaches the other day. I said, I've never had, it's a great problem to have. There's so many good special teams guys that we've got. With having that many quality football players too, it also gives the opportunity. I'm not a fan of like 2 platooning and having a guy play just offense or defense. But obviously, when you've got that many quality guys, there are more guys on our team that play just offense or just defense, and so then they're fresh for special teams. Most years when you're putting together your kickoff team or your kick return, there's always those 6 or 7 guys, at least in a 1A school, that are no-brainers. Those guys are going to be on kickoff or kick return. And then you're trying to figure out, who can I get in there, that's going to, still be a quality football guy that's not going to hurt our chances of, the other team running back a kick. And, you have to figure out who those 3 or 4 guys are. Now, I've got a list of about 17 or 18 guys, and a lot of the guys I've got on my kickoff or my kick return, a lot of those guys are just one-way players. They're either on offense or on defense. And those guys that start both ways on offense and defense, I give that a chance for them to rest. And we still have lots of really good quality guys on special teams.
You mentioned you have a solid nucleus returning from last year. Your guys under center last year were both underclassmen. When you have a quarterback with pretty much a year of experience going into a new season, what does that allow you to do offensively as compared to kind of teaching a guy a new position at the varsity level?
Well, we have moved our quarterback to a fullback. Okay. So Carver, who played quarterback for us last year as a sophomore, led us to the quarterfinals. People might call us crazy, but we needed his physicality in the backfield for where Gabe was playing a fullback, and Carver's 6 foot, 191 pounds, and there's not too many things to knock on him from last year. The only thing I can say is he was almost too physical playing quarterback. There was times where I got a little upset with him where he got out of the pocket and he's running down the sidelines, and instead of running out of bounds, he'd look for a linebacker or a DB and run after him, and he'd go and try to hit him. And there was times there, he took some hits that he didn't need to take. And, you don't want your quarterback doing that very often. And so it's kind of a no-brainer. We needed a tough-nosed guy in there playing fullback. We wanted a big body, a guy that could be a bruiser. And there was not a better guy than Carver Blitz-Benteen, who played quarterback for us last year. But he also got a great arm. So he's been, he's kind of been teaching Zach Driscoll, the ropes back there. And still, he gets a lot of reps at quarterback. So we have two really good quarterbacks, we feel. Zach Driscoll was on the JV team last year and is a sophomore this year. He's a great athlete. He led our basketball team as a freshman and one of the best basketball players in Northeast Iowa. And, he's just a really smart, heady player. And, we wanted to get a way to get both those guys in the field. So we moved Carver to fullback, in place of Gabe McGee, who graduated, and then Driscoll slid into quarterback.
And from the defensive side of the ball, nice returnees on that side of the ball. What's the ceiling for your defense this year?
We're put the speed out there on defense. Last year, we were able to hold a lot of teams to 2 touchdowns or less, and even held Regina to 1 score, and they've been averaging about 38 points a game. And that's all about speed. We don't have a lot of size on our defense. I think we'll probably only have 1 or 2 guys 200 pounds or bigger on the whole defense, but we've got a lot of speed out there. And our guys overall collectively as a team, we're faster and we're stronger than we've ever been. The guys bought in the off season in the weight room. I think when I took over in 2018, we had, we tested them out on the first day of camp on speed, strength, and agility. And we have some different goals that we're shooting for. And we had 2 guys on the team in 18 that were able, for the strength portion, were able to meet those goals. 2 out of, all the guys on the team. And this year we had 14. And, in last year's team, the year before, even those teams that made the quarterfinals, those teams had about, 7, 8 guys. And this year had 14. We also had 17 guys that ran under a 5 flat. So you have 17 guys in your team that are running the 4 9s, 4 7s, 4 8s, 17 guys. That's pretty good numbers. And so, we've got a lot of speed on defense. Got some returning guys there. Tristan Kane at nose guard was a first team all district player. You've got Wyatt Powell as a first team all district outside backer. Now he's moved into running back for us where Cullen was at. So we've got, Carver and Powell in the backfield, 2 big backs that are both 190 to 210 pounds. They can run hard and are, good athletes. Obviously we've got Decker back, and he's looking good. Finally, after, having dealing with some injuries and stuff, we got him healthy, and he's one of the fastest guys in Northeast Iowa and the whole state, actually, because he got 3rd at state as a sophomore in the 100 and 200. So, we've got good big receivers, guys that really worked hard in the weight room. 2 guys that are 6'2" and about 175 to 185 pounds that can catch. And then they play DB for us too. So, we have to replace a couple inside linebackers, but otherwise our defense was pretty much intact from last year.
When you look at your team right now, what area needs the most growth the quickest early in the season?
Probably, it's just maybe toughness, and understanding that, that things aren't going to go smooth all the time. And, we've been trying to find, every team's got their own identity, and this team's still trying to find that identity. They're competitors, and, they get on each other a little bit. I don't mind that and stuff, but they have to grow as a one collective unit. And they're physically, I think we're just as good or better than we've ever been. We just have to make sure that we gel as a team. And I think these first couple games will be a, great test for us. Obviously, New Hampton they're a 2A school. They're bigger than us, and they're ranked in the top 10 in a couple different, polls, and they got almost everybody back. So, and we got to go on the road. So it'll be a good test for these guys. Got a lot of returning starters. I think just everybody's kind of has to figure out where they belong and their role on the team.
And when you look at the toughness end of things, is that both mental and physical toughness?
Yeah, and I think it's even more mental than physical. Physically, we're pretty tough kids and stuff. I just think the mental toughness of things, everybody's got a breaking point and stuff, and every team does. And just, some of those teams we've had in the past, they've been tough. They've been physically tough and mental tough. There's nothing that would phase them. And so, these guys gotta, and that's on me as a coach. I just have to turn up the intensity a little bit here probably. And, every team's got their own personality. This team's pretty
And obviously, game one coming up this week, you take on New Hampton. You touched on them a little bit. High hopes for New Hampton this year with the talent they've got coming back. What's the biggest challenge they present?
You know, they're big and they're physical. You know, they've got a coach that's been there for 30 some years, probably 33. Ferrex has been there a long time, and you know, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He knows what to do there, and probably not get a lot of surprises from these guys. But they definitely know what they need to do to win, and they've won a lot of football games under him, and they just play a physical style of ball, and that's what we do too. So, I mean, I think if somebody wants to go see some good hard hitting, you know, football, I think, you know, Friday night at New Hampton's the place you want to go.
All right, Dan, keep your kids healthy. Hopefully you can get off to a successful start in the season Friday night. We wish you best of luck.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
This MFL Marmac Coach Conversation brought to you by Birdnow Chevrolet, Havlicek Trucking, and Meyer Auto Service.